Sacramento, California. It's round 2 of the AMA National Motocross Series. Hello, everyone. I'm Art Ekman along with David Bailey. Our motocross series picking up at one of the great traditions of the sport.
That's right. A lot of history here at Hangtown. I think it's got to be known for extreme weather conditions. They had snow here once in April, 9 hours of rain that made the track a quagmire, and that's not the case today. If anything, it's extremely nice with clear skies, a little breeze, perfect for racing.
Bringing out record crowds, we might add. Steve Lampson, the points leader, comes into this particular situation much different than last year.
That's right. Last year he was injured, was unable to ride this round, had to play catch-up, and that came down to the wire, an exciting battle with Brian Hughes. However, this year he's won both motos at the first round. He's got the points lead. And Scott Sheik, who was second at the first round, bumped all the favorites back a spot. And third and fourth in the points, Mike Brown and Damon Huffman are out with injuries. So a big opportunity here for Lampson.
It could mean opportunity, too, for Mikel Pichon.
That's right. He sits fifth in the points right now, and with Brown and Huffman out, he should move up into the second or third by the end of this race.
Okay, let's take a look at that Suzuki track map.
Well, it looks like somebody went crazy with the silly string, Art. It's going to be difficult to memorize this racetrack. This place has always been, it's been notorious for changing. Up until a couple of years ago, it ran different directions each year, but this year it's basically the same as last, although they've brought in quite a bit of sand. That's going to make it nice for the spectators to keep the dust down. However, some of the riders are complaining that it's one line.
This track has changed a lot over the years, especially from that first time in 1968 when it was held over near Placerville, and that's where they got the nickname. Placerville had a rather strange system of justice back in the Gold Rush days. That's where it got the nickname Hangtown, but since then it has changed locations. 125 riders getting ready. There you see the defending champion Steve Lampson. Lammy did not run in this race, even though it was his home track last year because of a rather serious injury, but he got started late and capping a dramatic season. Mikel Pichon, number 12 from France, winning the first moto of the season back in March, way back in March at the Gatorback. Steve Lampson, though, talking over with Mike Gosler, his mechanic, the strategy, coming off the injured list this year even.
Yeah, it's good to be back. I've been off for like 6 weeks now, and last couple weeks I got back into riding and been actually doing more riding than I have in a long time, and I've been feeling really good. My toes back to normal, and I feel 100%. I mean, Friday here was really good, and I feel like I'm back to normal, and it's just great to be back riding.
They called it a photo shoot that Lammy participated in at this track in getting ready for this race, David.
Well, it's anytime you can spend some time on the racetrack, it's good. And, you know, I think he's got to be ready. Even though he's sat out all the Supercrosses since the injury in Houston, he's got to be ready on the 125. It's altogether different.
Lammy, number 1, Steve Lampson. Pichon, number 12, right next to each other. Number 17 is Michael Craig, is the 40 strong, head to the first turn. Antonez a good start, as well as Lammy. And Pedro Gonzalez getting hung up right there, along with Corey Keeney and Jeff Willow. The whole shot to Steve Lampson. Holland and Antonez, and here comes Pichon. Pichon to the inside, moving into second place. That's number 12, Mikel Pichon. He's looking for a good outdoor year.
Well, that's the way to do it, too. He came off the line. It looked like he came around the first corner, fifth, maybe fourth, and passed both those guys in the first lap. So right now, basically your fastest 2 guys on the track are out to do battle out front.
Well, it must be feeling good now for Steve Lampson on his home track to finally be able to race here. Last year, of course, he was injured. Got a DNF in one of the motos at Gatorback, and that put him some 60 points behind. Well, what an emotional charge, winning the championship in the final moto of the year.
Well, it's no fun to have to do it like that, but yeah, it is exciting for us anyway. I'm sure this year he'd like to do it a little different, and like the way Jeremy does it. You got 2 or 3 races to spare, and you're able to relax quite a bit. Right now, you can't relax at all because Pichon's coming hard.
Have you ever seen such perfect weather at Hangtown, David?
Well, occasionally, but you know what I'm noticing right now is the way that they've watered the track just here and there in places. Look how dirty Pichon is. Lampson's perfectly clean, and Pichon is already trying to take different lines to stay out of that Rusley. The front of him is covered, and it's got to mess with his vision a little bit as well.
We take a look at the Suzuki stopwatch now to see some of the intervals from the leaders. As Steve Lampson still out in front, Mikel Pichon is hounding him as we go back through the field.
They're
Almost
still pretty
10 seconds.
Yeah, they're still pretty bunched up right now. Kevin Windham was about 10 seconds behind the leaders. He's one of the favorites that's gotten off to the worst start, and it looked like Antonez has gotten back around Rusty Holland for third.
A nice slight breeze taking temperatures down here at Hangtown this year, and you can kind of see that the texture of track is a little bit softer. after they put in as well several truckloads of sand and tilled it in to the track.
Well, they've only brought the sand in certain sections, and right through here, all this section leading up to the finish line, it's pretty hard packed, and as the day wears on, that's going to get dusty and very slick.
AMA Motocross on ESPN2 is brought to you by Honda Motorcycles and ATVs. Get to your dealer now for the lowest deals of the year.
A decade ago, Suzuki unleashed the original GSXR. It created a new category of motorcycles. Win after win, time after time. We never stopped refining. And now the time has come again. The all-new GSXR 750 is finally here. Because something this fast can't be rushed.
Just what does it take to get in shape and stay that way? If you think you need to go to a gym to lose weight, get in shape, and have a body like this, think again. This is Bowflex, a real workout at home that's so good, we guarantee results in 6 weeks or your money back. Think about it. You could get results like tighter abs, finer lines, a stronger chest, and more defined legs in only 6 weeks. It's not magic, it's Bowflex. All of the most effective exercises, plus a great aerobic rowing feature, ready for a quick workout whenever you are. Nothing could be easier. The results you want are only 6 weeks away. Don't think about it anymore. Take action. Call us and ask for a free video and brochure on the machine that works like an entire gym, but fits anywhere in your home.
It's over 8 feet long, and most of it's chrome. You can't wait. Valkyrie, May 25th.
Welcome back to Hangtown, just outside of Sacramento, California. Art Ekman and David Bailey. 125, moto number 1. Steve Lapson, the defending champion, on his home track, out in front of a good performance by Mikel Pichon.
And already these guys look like they've opened it up over Antunez, Hall, and Deegan. You can see those guys are still in there, but quite a ways back. Pichon's pushing Lamson right here, and maybe he's learning a little something he can use on him later.
The 125's getting a little bit more depth in this race as the injured Chad Pedersen, Robbie Reynard, injured Lamson, in fact, Tim Ferry back for this race. Ezra Lusk currently in 3rd place. Ezra, a rejuvenated season in Supercross after a very tough time of it last year. He's riding 125s instead of the 250 here in the outdoors.
And he's been riding so well indoors on the 250. I think that's really given him a lot of confidence to come out here and muscle that 125 around. He muscled his way around Rusty Holland in that mechanics area. That was a smart pass. Just ran it wide and kept his momentum and cut him off in the next corner.
And speaking of mechanics, Tony Berluti is working with Ezra in this race as his regular mechanic, Ed Longacre, a broken hand as he got it pinched between a tool chest and the truck, the Suzuki truck. Devastating injury. Here's Brian Deegan, number 25. Dowd is on the move. He had an 8th place start, and he is really pouring it on.
I think this track really suits him. You can see it's kind of rough and a lot of different lines, a lot of different choppy berms right there. They start to get rough in them, and you got to be pretty smart. There's sand, as we've already mentioned here and there. We know that Dowd goes fast in the sand. This was the first place he ever won a national, so he's probably comfortable here.
Of course, that was in the 91 rainstorm when it rained 9 straight hours. A great mudder out of the northeast.
Right there, just out breaking Deegan into that corner, jumped all the way into the berm and pulled a tearaway.
Here's Deegan
back, though.
Coming back. Brian Deegan of Team Chaparral. A good opportunity for Brian with Larry Brooks' crew. Here's Antunez, number 22, Deegan, number 25. Here comes Dowd, number 7, on the outside.
Well, he gets him back. You know, I thought he was going to make that pass Dick the first time, but as he exited the corner, he reached up and pulled that roll-off system to get clear vision, and that allowed Deegan to jump back in there briefly.
Here's James Dodd, number 19, too, in back of Deegan.
These guys are all fighting for position, and Dowd's leading the chase. Let's check in with Davey Coombs.
We just saw John outgun Antunez down that downhill. Are you happy with his progress through the pack so far?
Well, I mean, you're always looking for a little better, you know. I wish he would have gone through a little quicker, but compared to Gainesville, he's moving faster in the beginning of the race. That's what we've been working on all along. And unfortunately, Pichon and Lamson are gone right now, but we'll salvage third, hopefully, and come back next moto.
Here's Dowd as Antonez has been able to sneak out in front of John, number 7, one more time, but Dowdy is right there.
Well, John is, as his mechanic mentioned, starts off a little slow. John is always, to me, as one of the guys that rides a little quicker towards the end of the race. He's a strong finisher. That's his conditioning, and he impresses me on that 125, both indoors and out.
Antonez going wide, picking up a little spin. Dowdy right on his tail, waiting for another mistake. Out of the horseshoe, here comes John Dowd, and it looks like he's got the momentum. Can he take Antonez to the inside? Yes. Oh, he's got great speed going downhill.
That was pretty close, too, because he jumped over in front of Antonez, and here's another look at it. You'll see how close. Watch the rear end of Dowd's motorcycle just going in front of Antonez. Antonez could have gone down right there, but I think they both knew they had it. It's just one of those situations that looked a little closer than it was, I think.
So John Dowd trying to make true the words of his mechanic to try to get into third place now, as Rusty Holland, number 71, is right in front of Dowdy.
People, you can hear them cheering now. They're cheering for Dowd. He's the guy on the move, making up all the time. And there's enough time left in the race for him to catch Holland.
And I don't think Dowd takes that kidding about his age very serious.
I really don't. I think the only time I think about it is when people ask me on, interviews or whatever. But myself, I think I'm in better shape than I've ever been in right now. And the only downfall, I think, to being a little older is that maybe I think you're not quite as flexible, and maybe not able to take a good hard crash or something as you would when you're maybe 18 or something. But I think there's a lot of good points to it too. I think I've learned to really appreciate when I have a good race or something. I feel like I work hard during the week, and I have a good sponsor right now with Yamaha. I have a good deal and a good mechanic and a lot of good people working for me, and I think I'm old enough to really know what I have going for me. I really appreciate all the help that I have, and I try to give it 110% all the time.
You can get a good idea of how sincere and what a wonderful young man John Dowd is with that comment. He got his career started late, and maybe isn't quite as banged up as some of the other guys that get that age.
Well, there's some of the other guys we've seen getting burned out a little bit early, but Dowd right here looks strong.
Good speed downhill, takes the rut beautifully, and he's in a bar-to-bar battle with Rusty Holland, number 71. Holland on David Pingree's bike. Got a good opportunity with Pro Circuit. Pingree injured. Dowdy comes back to the inside to reestablish third place.
That's the section, that same downhill where Dowd got Antonez a little earlier. He's been fast through there, and these guys are in a good battle behind him. I don't think he cares anymore the way he caught and passed him. He should be able to hang on to that spot now. Buddy
Antonez from Great Western's team, number 22, is currently in 5th place as we see our field summary. We'll be back to Hangtown with more 125 action after these words.
In America, you are not required to offer food to the hungry or shelter to the homeless. There is no ordinance forcing you to visit the lonely. In fact, nowhere in the Constitution does it say you have to provide anything for anybody. Thank you for all you've given. Imagine what more could do.
It all happened so fast, we didn't know what hit us. But after I saw the damage to the back of my car, the full impact of the accident really hit me. The bills, the paperwork, this pain in my neck, not to mention the obnoxious insurance company. It was really overwhelming.
So we called 1-800-THE-LAW too.
An attorney from the Legal Rights Defenders helped us find a doctor, got my car fixed,
and won monetary compensation for our injuries.
After an accident, call 1-800-THE-LAW too, because 1-800-THE-LAW...
Keep track of everything that happens in the world of motor racing. You drive with us. RPM tonight, the ultimate wrap-up of the day that was in the world of motor racing. Monday through Friday at 7 and Sunday at 8, only on ESPN2.
Welcome back to Hangtown. Moto 1 125 action as we pick up the battle between Buddy Anthonez and Rusty Holland. Anthonez to the inside, really testing Holland now. Oh, he almost got his toe caught there.
He was having to paddle around that corner because he lost the front end, but he pulled it off. He just had to run through there with his foot, and it was an aggressive move. I think he just jammed to the inside and was hoping it would pay off, and it did. Took a lot of energy out of him, though.
For those of you just tuning in, Steve Lampson is our leader here in Moto 1. He and Pichon are having quite a battle out front in the first and second spot. John Dowd in third as we look at Buddy Anthonez now in fourth.
Well, staying pretty close to John Dowd. You can see right there coming off that drop-off. These guys aren't that far behind. I thought the way Dowd passed him that he'd start to pull away, but I think he could see up the track. There's no way in the world he's going to catch first or second. He's probably comfortable with the pace he's got, that he'll be able to hold these guys off.
Buddy Anthonez, of course, gaining fame as Jeremy McGrath's teammate in 125 action.
Bert, how do you feel about Buddy's progress so far?
I'm pretty happy about it. Buddy seems to be a little more confident, a little more aggressive in the outdoor 125 than did in Supercross. So I'm happy where he's sitting right now. Hopefully he can get John Dowd back and end up in third in this moto.
So we've got a good battle within this race. Brian Deegan, number 25. Casey Johnson, number 58. Johnson from Hesperia, California on the pro circuit Kawasaki.
Starting to move up a little bit. Remember, Deegan early in the race was up there battling and maybe just faded a tad, and now this is what happens. You get heat from everybody coming up from behind, the guys who didn't get the good starts.
It appears that downhill is one of the favorite passing areas as Casey Johnson comes up the hill. Chad Pedersen, number 21. Good to see him back on the track after a broken arm.
He's putting the pressure on too, so Deegan can't relax. There goes Pedersen on the inside. That was Dowd's favorite place to pass. Didn't quite have enough.
Casey Johnson, number 58, in fifth spot with Deegan in sixth, and Pedersen in seventh right now. 125, moto number 1.
So finally, all that pressure Pedersen was putting on Deegan pays off, and he follows his teammate Casey Johnson right around. These guys didn't get the best of starts, but they're coming through the pack pretty strong.
Pedersen and Deegan behind Casey Johnson. Johnson with a 10th place finish in the opening motocross of the season at Gatorback Park in Florida. But had a very inspiring second place at Dallas. Had moments of brilliance during that Supercross season. Brian Deegan, number 25, a privateer last year.
And that battle you talked about, Art, in Dallas between Casey Johnson and Kevin Windham and Pichon was a heated one, and I think everybody was pretty surprised, probably Casey Johnson as well, that he was able to move around Windham for second there. And Windham early in the race we saw was running around 12th. He's still unable to move his way through the pack. I know he's got the speed, so that tells me the pace is quick.
Well, Mitch Payton's got to be proud of these two guys battling it out and moving up the ladder.
I think so, and also with Pichon up there putting the pressure on Lampson. If Lampson makes any kind of a bobble, perhaps Pro Circuit could win this moto. So he's got a lot of guys out there. These two kids are young and have a bright future.
Robbie Reinert, number 14, comes back after a long rehab. It's appropriate, I guess he came back at Hangtown for the vertebrae he broke, is known as the hangman's vertebrae. Number 2, he broke it in arena cross, but he's lucky to be back on the track at all.
Well, of course, I relate to that pretty well, Art. It's hearing people breaking backs and necks and coming back and racing, and I can't tell him how fortunate he is. And it'll be a long climb back. He's got to be patient, but I'm sure that with the talent he's got, he'll be back where he belongs in no time.
The mishap was in an arena cross in preparing for the first Supercross of the year. Here's Casey Johnson, number 58, holding his own against his teammate Chad Pedersen.
Well, he sure has, and I think Casey has got a lot of confidence coming out of some pretty good rounds indoors, and carried that to the outdoors here. Didn't get the start he wanted, I doubt, but he's starting to move through the pack, and Pedersen has copied every move. They've stayed about the same distance away from each other this entire moto.
Both these young men appreciative of the opportunity that Pro Circuit has given to them. Chad Pedersen, number 21 there, was the top non-factory rider in 125s in this series last year. All that money was coming out of his pocket, though, and that included a destroyed van, a stolen bike. I mean, he really went through the rigors to gain that title last year.
Well, all that hard work pays off, and it is good to see him get this break. And you can see what Pichon has proven, that this motorcycle is good enough to win a championship. He's out there, as we mentioned already, putting the pressure on Lampson. So these guys have got what they need in terms of being competitive, and it's just a matter of them getting some experience, a little confidence, and working their way up the ladder.
Chad trying to regain his confidence after a crash in his opening 125 Supercross this year in Minnesota, where he got a big concussion and a broken arm and was out something like 10 weeks. Here's our leader, Steve Lampson. Lammy has led every lap in this race after taking the whole shot. He is coming off the injured list in Supercross with vengeance here.
Well, the 125 Nationals are completely different from the Supercross, so I don't think that he lost a lot of speed or any confidence on this motorcycle by missing the Supercrosses that he did. And you can see it in his posture, the way he rides, his stance right there, his aggressive riding. The 125 class just belongs to him, and he's proving it right now.
Rusty Holland is getting a fight from Casey Johnson for 5th place. Johnson to the inside on a good move. Rusty left it open a little bit.
He sure did, and Casey Johnson's been on the move. I mentioned before, he's coming through the pack. He didn't start he wanted, but he's starting to make it pay off now. As he moves all the way, you can see right there, all the way into 5th place.
Lamps and Pichon and Dowd our top 3. We'll be back with a finish of Moto 1 in the 125s after this.
Free for small business owners.
Now you can say goodbye to your bookkeeping hassles forever because the makers of Quicken have invented QuickBooks, the #1 selling accounting software that makes it fast and easy to do the things you don't love doing, like paying bills, writing invoices, figuring out what your customers owe, even tracking inventory and doing payroll. QuickBooks makes it all hassle-free. Call now to get a trial version absolutely free through this special limited-time TV offer.
Chaparral, the world's largest parts and accessories, motorcycle, ATV, and watercraft dealer. Call today. Chaparral, we race what we sell.
The world's biggest stars. In the world's most popular sport, come to play in your backyard. It's the birth of a new league, MLS on ESPN.
LA Galaxy versus New England Revolution, Thursday at 7:30.
The whole world is watching.
We are at Hangtown near Sacramento, California. Art Ekman, David Bailey, and Davey Combs as we take a look at our 2nd place rider here in the 125, Moto #1, Mikel Pichon, who hit a rut and went down and went from 4 seconds behind the leader, Steve Lampson, to 14 seconds behind the leader, but he is still in 2nd place.
Well, that's the luxury of battling with Lampson. You know that if you can stay up front like that in the first 4 or 5 laps, you've got such a lead over 3rd, you can afford to make a mistake like that and still hang on to 2nd.
Pichon winning the Eastern Supercross title, has a lot to learn in motocross, mainly endurance factor and conditioning.
Well, Mikel knows that indoors it doesn't take as much fitness because he's so precise, but outdoors it's a little different. You talked to him about that earlier.
For outdoor, I don't think for Supercross. For Supercross, you need to be, if you have a good technique, you can ride fast for 20 laps. Because if you ride smooth, if you are very precise on the jump, you don't get tired. But in outdoor, you get tired anyway, because it's when it's very hot and humid, even if there is no precision in outdoor, it's only wide open. So I think that's why I have to work for the outdoor. It's more physically.
Mikel Pichon winning the first moto of the year at Gatorback, but fell to 12th in the 2nd moto after a bad start, and then he went down. So he's trying to pick up some extra points here and challenge Steve Lampson. Number 19, James Dobb out of England, has really made a good charge, but Casey Johnson is hounding him for 5th place. Now, Dobb is a privateer for the rest of the season. He was on the Team Suzuki bike that Craig Decker was using, but has since lost that ride. Decker, of course, having his vertebrae fused and cannot get doctor's permission to get back on the track. They say any kind of impact would be very injurious to him.
Well, that's a smart move for him to just make sure that it's absolutely safe for him to get back out there, because it's not worth it to, especially a neck injury like that. It was up pretty high, and you know, it's possibly he could lose the use of his arms, and I would sure hate to see that happen. And you know, I talked about how Casey Johnson had come from behind and was putting on a strong drive. Well, James Dobb is putting on even a stronger one, because he caught and passed him. And now these guys are in a great battle. It could carry him up to the next place right in front of them.
Johnson trying to get around James Dobb. Dobb trying to make an impression to try to get a factory ride back, and Casey Johnson gets him on the inside.
If you see Dobb right there, he looked over his shoulder like, well, who's next?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to fight this hard. Look at this. Casey Johnson up the inside. Nice move. Dobb, nothing he could do. He just has to put on the brakes. Watch him right here. See if he can, yeah, there he goes. He looks over to the behind him and see if anybody else is coming, because maybe that's all he's got left.
Only one moto down, and we're getting some pretty good ruts out there.
Yeah, it's going to get worse as the day continues, and unlike the Supercross, they don't get out here with the tractors and smooth this thing out very much between motos. It's going to get rougher and rougher, and you can see a little bit of dust kicking up here and there. That's going to make the start really critical in the second moto.
Steve Lampson, our leader. Mike Gosler, his mechanic, said, hey, I'm just happy to have my rider back off the injured list. He helped Skip Norfolk with Jeremy's Supercross effort, but he was saying that he was probably the most high-priced sandwich maker in America. Mike Gosler, the mechanic.
You can see him making, giving thumbs up. He's probably got a few friends around the racetrack. Couple of thumbs up so far. There's no jumps to pull off any big aerials like they have at Supercross, but Lampson's got to be happy with this.
Lampson on his way and takes his second moto win of the season. It's Lampson, Mikel Pichon, John Dowd, a lonely third place. Buddy Antonez in fourth with Casey Johnson. A nice ride for Casey, rounding out the top five. Dobb, Craig, Lusk, Pedersen, and Kevin Windham in 10th place. Davey Coombs.
Okay, we're down here in the winner's circle with Steve Lampson, fresh off of a start-to-finish win. Steve, how'd you feel out there?
I felt good. I was getting a little bit pumped up the first few laps because Mikel was on me pretty good, but I just kept using my head and just said, you know, you got to ride smart, let loose off all the jumps, and once he fell or what, I don't know what happened to him, but I just kind of cruised after that, save my energy for next moto.
You've been out of action for a few weeks with the ankle injury. How's it feel?
It's feeling really good. It didn't bother me one bit. Just the actual missing on racing each weekend kind of got me a little bit tired, but I feel good for next moto, though, I know.
Okay, any predictions for the next race?
I managed to do the same, man. Just get the whole shot and hopefully win that thing.
All right, congratulations, Steve.
Thank you.
Lampson in a breeze here in Moto 1 after Pichon hounded him for about 9 laps. Pichon going down, taking second, back to Davey.
Mikel, what happened to you in the corner over there? Looks like you're right on Steve's pace, then you fell.
Well, I was just behind him and tried to find some good lines to catch him because he was very fast, and I just tried to find another line, and the front wheel slipped, and that's a problem, you know, because I was trying to catch him and find a new line, but that's okay. I was also a little bit tired at the end, so I'm happy with the second.
It's really hot here today at Hangtown. How do you feel for the second moto?
Well, I feel pretty good, but you know, before I come here, I didn't like the track at all. Last year I got my worst result here, and if I can get a good overall today, I'd be happy because that's not the kind of track I like, really.
All right. Congratulations on second.
Thanks.
Well, we'll give him a little rest. And Moto 2 will be coming up here at Hangtown near Sacramento, California. Art Ekman, David Bailey, and Davey Coombs will return in a moment.
6 cylinders, 6 carburetors. The biggest motor you can get on 2 wheels. You can't wait. Valkyrie, May 25th.
Honey, pinch me.
Return to your senses in Florida.
Frantically planning a Florida vacation? Relax. The Gulf Coast of Florida already has a perfect plan. First, sun yourself on the beautiful beaches of St. Petersburg, Clearwater. Second, fun yourself at nearby Busch Gardens in Tampa Bay. It's the perfect sun and fun Florida vacation plan. For yours, call today.
You want it. You want it bad. So get it.
And get this, and 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 this. Because right now, during Suzuki Fest Summer, when you buy any dual sport motorcycle, you'll get an accessory kit with over $300 in Suzuki gear, including a Suzuki gear bag, backpack, goggles, and much more. You can also get some incredible deals. So get to your participating Suzuki dealer, get yourself a dual sport, and get a $300 accessory kit free, so you can look good under all that mud.
The 125 riders at the gate now getting ready for moto number 2 here at Hangtown near Sacramento, California. You see Steve Lampson once again right in the center of that gate, number 1. And next to him, Mikel Pichon, 8:38 is Ken Ashkenazi, the former Australian champion. So the 30-second board is down now, and we could go at any time. Lampson getting the whole shot so far. And look at the wheelie he does. But Lampson cutting to the inside gets another hole shot. Pichon is there. And added to the mix is Tim Ferry, number 20. Pichon, number 12, taking the lead.
Well, Pichon in the first moto looked to me like Artie was a little bit faster than Lampson and was trying everything he could to get around, wasn't able to. And perhaps this is what he needed, to get a hole shot and be able to ride the lines he wants to ride, pull away, force Lampson to do all the chasing. That could change the complexion of this whole race.
That's good to see Tim Ferry up there competitive. He broke his jaw last year at Houston Supercross, and what a spectacular crash he got run into after he went down at Troy in the motocross scene last year. But Tim Ferry in second place behind Mikel Pichon with Lampson right on his bumper.
And right now I've noticed that they've watered the track in places. You can see right there they've watered it, trying to keep the dust down. Ferry in a drag race with Pichon, trying to take over the lead. Can't make the inside though, so Pichon's going to hang on to it. But when they water the track like that, it makes it very slick. Right here, all that mud flies up, gets in your face, and you go through 2-3 tear-offs at the very beginning of the race. So preserving your vision in those first few laps is important. And right now, Lampson's gobbling up a lot of that roof.
How many tear-offs can you carry out there, David?
Well, some of the guys are using roll-offs, and that's like, you can last forever with those. That's like what you see in car racing when they get a little speck on the camera, and all of a sudden it moves across. That's what it looks like from the rider's point of view. The guys that put actual tear-offs where you pull them off, they can only carry about 5, then it starts to get a little milky.
Well, we saw John Dowd come over that hill and do the roll-off action with the hand up. As we take a look at the Suzuki stopwatch, that main pack still is within 7 seconds of one another. Mikel Pichon, number 12, the Eastern 125 Supercross champion, is leading, and you can see right there is a good example of what you mentioned, David Bailey. They've watered down the track between motos.
Oh, it's so important to try to stay in the loose stuff. Anytime you get in there with the ground's a little shiny, it's very slick, and the guys that can find their lines a little quicker are the guys that are really going to make up time. And then the first 2-3 laps, the track will really change too, so you have to be able to adjust to new lines.
Most of the riders really anxious to get back to the outdoors where they kind of grew up with their kind of racing. Motocross action rather than the slick technique of Supercross. There's Lampson. Lampson's got it on the throttle right now.
You can see Lampson going way out where it's dry. And gets a little sideways right there. He's trying a little bit different line. Didn't lose that much time, but that's a mistake that'll cost you big on a 125, because anytime you make a mistake, it takes forever to make it back up. On a 250, you seem to be able to get away with a little bit more.
With the more power. Tim Ferry in second place out of Florida. Hounding Pichon in first with Lampson in third.
Well, Tim Ferry impresses me. I like to watch him ride, and he's so fast at times. He does things smart. He's a good jumper. He does well indoors. And just sometimes a little lapse in concentration somewhere between in a race. You know, for 2 or 3 laps, all of a sudden he just does things a little differently, and the whole race kind of falls away from him. But if he can stay focused, I think he's got a bright future and a great riding style, and I would expect him to be a contender for the title in the years to come.
Pichon, the first over the hill. Ferry, Lampson, and then Dowd in 4th place with Kevin Windham in 5th. It's the first time we've seen Windham that high on the day.
Well, disappointing 10th place in the first moto for Windham. Ferry even further back in 12th. And both these guys with better starts, I would expect them to give Pichon and Steve Lampson a lot of trouble, because these guys are capable of running the pace, and they're very talented and finesse-type riders.
Kevin Windham, of course, out with an injury. Did not make the Gatorback first round. There you see Dowd in 4th. He's pulling up, and Dowd a strong runner coming from behind.
Well, you mentioned in the first moto already that Dowd is a strong finisher as the race continues. If this race was an hour long, he'd probably win it for sure. He's got the fitness, and right now he's getting a good look at Lamson. So he didn't get a chance to see Lamson in the first moto, see what he was doing, what his lines looked like, and when you can establish a rhythm and a kind of a cadence from the guy that's winning the motos, usually it helps you to find your rhythm, and you can see right there that he was just telling him to stay relaxed.
Chad Watts, Mikel Pichon's mechanic, and he's drawing a little bit of a lead now on Tim Ferry.
And the more he can relax, probably the bigger lead he'll get. As soon as you start getting a little bit tense, you can't ride, relax, your arms pump up maybe, and you start thinking a little bit about the guys coming up from behind. The longer it takes Lamson to get around Tim Ferry, I think the better Pichon is going to feel about this whole situation. He'll be able to stay relaxed.
Tim Ferry in second place, but Lamson is right there, and Dowd is popping into the picture in fourth.
Kevin Windham still at the tail end of this battle. As long as he's in sight of the leaders and he doesn't see them pulling away very much, I think he'll be content to stay there, let things sort themselves out, let this mud and everything kind of get worked in, and then at that point start to put on a charge.
Only a 2-second lead, Pichon over the second place rider Tim Ferry. Pichon number 12.
Lamson
and Ferry
now.
A little bobble there on the corner.
Yeah, Lamson's starting to apply the heat. And that's when we'll find out what Ferry's made of. Right there, Ferry with a different line. I don't think it's going to work.
Lamson easily blitzing by Tim Ferry.
Kind of looked like Ferry just let him by, and it's not a bad thing early in a race. It's a 30-minute moto. It's plenty of time. Ferry can learn a little bit from Lamson and stay in this battle and perhaps put it on him in the end.
Let's go down to Davey Combs.
Steve just passed Tim Ferry for second. How long do you think it's going to be before he starts to attack Pichon?
I don't know. I think Pichon's going to be a hard one to get around, you know. He's going at a pretty good pace, but it looks like he's gaining on him ever so close. You know, a little bit more every lap.
Yeah, about a 3-second deficit now as he puts the charge in. John Dowd making a move on Tim Ferry. Ferry going backwards so far as Dowd moves into third place.
And Ferry doesn't even look like the same rider as he did in the beginning. Now, as I mentioned that it's a long moto and he's got plenty of time, and if you want to let a guy by, like Lamson, and try to learn, that's fine, but it looked like he just let Dowd by too, and you can't do that. You can't let everybody by, and right now, I mean, he looks pretty aggressive through that corner, but he's not putting it all together, and you know, even if he does put on a charge a little later, when he lets too many guys by, you can't get them all back.
As we look at the Suzuki field summary, Windham coming on fast in 5th position. We'll be back.
At Honda, we don't think kids should be the only ones who eat dirt. That's why we make fun and reliable dirt bikes for just about every member of your family. So that everyone can get a taste of the great outdoors.
Sprint's dime-a-minute rate is getting rave reviews.
Sprint Sense is great. I can call my sister in Kansas for only 10 cents a minute.
Now I call my folks in New York 3 times a week. For just a dime a minute, why not? That's right. All over the country, people have been signing up for Sprint's simple low rate. Call now and you'll pay just 10 cents a minute on state-to-state calls every evening, every night, and all weekend long.
We've got a daughter in college in Los Angeles, so 10 cents a minute is terrific for us.
And it's just 10 cents a minute to Canada on weekends. So what are you waiting for? Call now.
Know what I like best? When I call back home, I'm earning 10% cash back.
It's like a great big tip at the end of the year. And Sprint's dime-a-minute rate is good forever. So call now.
Dime a minute? I rate it a 10.
You just can't beat Sprint Sense. Get a dime a minute and 10% cash back. Call now. 1-800-913-9730.
Rejoining Moto number 2 from Sacramento, California in 125 action, Buddy Antunez, number 22, holding his own in 6th place with a fast Michael Craig in 7th.
These guys are locked into a pretty good battle amongst themselves. I don't see anybody right ahead of him or behind him. Antunez, who finished 4th in the first moto, a little further back this time, I think, due to the start. Trying to hold off Mike Craig. Craig paddling through that berm a little bit right there, but he looks pretty aggressive. I don't think he's going to leave Antunez alone for a while.
Michael Craig cuts to the inside. Oh, highway robbery here in Hangtown. Look at that move by Craig. Bar to bar we go with Antunez.
Craig trying to make it work on the outside, but Antunez just keeps on hanging on to the good line. Craig tried to square him off, couldn't make it work. Now they got company from behind. There's somebody trying to work on them. I couldn't quite identify who that was. Looked like a pro circuit rider.
Here's Pichon out in front. Now he's starting to get hounded by Lamson. This could be a great finish, ladies and gentlemen, as they go over the finish line jump. Pichon, our leader for this entire race so far. Lamson led every lap of Moto number 1. But Pichon's trying to do that same thing here in Moto 2.
Well, look how much time Lamson made up right through that section. He squared off that corner and just, you saw him come out of the gate and start and wheelie all the way to the first corner. That Honda's got some horsepower, and it seems like he's making up time on those long straightaways.
Pichon taking the outside rut. Lamson following suit. Lammy looks like he's just planning right now where he wants to take him.
Well, I can't believe how quick he caught him. I mean, each time they go down a straightaway and up, especially on one of those uphills, he makes up a lot of time. Now he's side by side, and anytime a rider catches you that quick, I mean, you got to think that Pichon right now is going, man, what's going on? I had a comfortable lead a second ago. Now this guy's all over me.
It's got to be working on his mind, that's for sure. Pichon, he's going a little bit wide, but Lamson not quite there to take advantage of it.
Well, Lamson's close enough that if Pichon makes any mistake, he's there. And I noticed that Pichon seems to be running wide open and using, trying to keep his momentum through all those berms, use those big, wide, dry powder berms on the outside, where Lamson's just finessing it and trying to flat track it across the inside.
Davey Combs is down getting the thoughts now of Mikel Pichon's mechanic.
Looks like Mikel's getting a lot of pressure from Lamson right now.
Yeah, Lammy's picked up the pace the last couple of laps, and he's definitely putting the pressure on Mikel. He's just got to keep looking ahead and try not to worry about Lammy behind him right now. It's too early in the race.
This is Mikel Pichon's last year on the 125s. Regardless of where he goes, having to leave the 125 Pro Circuit split fire team, Chad Watts will go with him. That's been a good combination.
Now Dowd is starting to stay in contact with the leader, so this could become a three-way battle. If Pichon holds up Lamson a little bit at all, that's going to allow Dowd to get right in there and really change this.
Here goes Lammy in the uphill. Oh, he cuts to the inside. A good, clean move by Lamson.
Well, you know what happened was the last lap, I thought Pichon would have recognized that Lamson caught him through there so much. I mean, he made up probably 10 bike lengths, and he still left the door just a little bit too far open, and Lamson rode right through it.
Well, Lammy has proved very tough once he gets the lead as we take a slow motion look at the replay.
Well, he's just going like 20 miles an hour faster up that hill into the corner, and he's on the inside. It's amazing he was able to stop for that burn, but Lamson has got it all under control right now. You can see already starting to open up just a little bit of a lead as Dowd closes in on Pichon. Pichon will be focused probably more on Dowd than he will on Lamson. That'll be good news for Lamson. He'll probably be able to relax, pull away even more.
Lamson looking for a sweep here at Hangtown, his home track.
Crowd starting to get into it now, anticipating a good battle. Dowd has been going about the same pace with the leaders, and it seems as though that he's going about the same pace as Lamson, and Pichon's the one who's fading. So maybe Lamson could be challenged at the end of this race.
Dowd with Team Yamaha, number 7. Opened the eyes of the factory teams, really, in the outdoor season 2 years ago.
And I'll tell you what, Art, when I heard Dowd was riding the 125 class, I was just like, what? What the heck is he doing on a 125? You know, it's amazing how well he's done, how much he's adapted to it. It seems like he's having a lot of fun on it, and it's showing right now.
Well, there is quite a bit of difference in power right there, and you have to manhandle a 125 a little more, don't you?
Well, you can, and you have to, and the stronger that you are, you can really ride that thing aggressive, and Dowd is strong, and he's got a strong finish, and already you can see how much he's closed up on Pichon, and I can't believe how tight these guys all are.
Here goes Dowd under the inside, and Pichon now is pushed back to third. John Dowd, can he hold on a second now? He gets the challenge from Pichon, but gets good power on the wide swing.
Well, he just carried his momentum all the way around the outside, and it's not necessarily the line he would have chosen if he was by himself. But he had to just motor around that corner and maintain his momentum to keep Pichon from gaining on him coming out of that corner up the hill.
Our Suzuki Field summary: Lamson, Dowd, and Pichon, the new order. We'll be back in a moment.
Get the performance of a Volkswagen for 0 down and just $219 a month or 1.9 APR. 2 years or 24,000 miles of no-cost scheduled maintenance and a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty, the longest in the industry. It's the Volkswagen Jetta GL. Now just 0 down and $219 a month or 1.9 APR. That's right, 0 down and $219 a month or 1.9 APR. Only at your Southern California Volkswagen dealer.
3 times he's fought to keep his title. 3 times he's walked away the victor. Now he faces an unknown threat half a world away. Fight Night returns to KCAL Live. It's WBO Flyweight Championship action when Alberto Raton Jimenez faces the mystery man from Puerto Rico, Jose Lopez. It's 12 rounds of full-fisted excitement coming at you live. Jimenez versus Lopez. Fight Night, Saturday night, 7 p.m., KCAL Live.
World champion, the Condor, Matt Hoffman. Oh, he's mangled countless bicycles and numerous preconceived notions performing feats hitherto deemed impossible by even the most intrepid aerialists. I believe we are in for just a bit of turbulence. Fly!
The X Games, coming soon.
Rejoining the second moto for the 125s, Kevin Windham making a move now. Windham after a disappointing first moto, but you got to consider that he's coming off the injured list, and this is his first outdoor performance of 1996, number 38. And of course, one of his teachers back in the Team Yamaha camp is Bob Hanna, a significant piece of history here at Hangtown. Back in 1976, Bob Hanna won both 125 motos. It was the first year that Hangtown gave national points. It was a big day in Bob Hanna's career.
When I signed for the Yamaha a few months earlier, I actually didn't think, I thought I'd be fired that year, you know, so I won a few races in Florida, and I still didn't realize that I could actually win a national. And when I went home that day with the trophy, then I realized that I might be able to do this. So it was like a turning stone in that factory contract.
That's interesting coming from the mouth of Bob Hanna, isn't it? Tim Ferry now has slowed down considerably after, at one time in second place, has now moved back to fifth.
Oh, he's just, I don't know, he must have, I don't know what's going on with this guy. It seems like he's just riding around like it's the last lap or something, but he's still got some work cut out.
And Michael Craig still putting pressure on people. Casey Johnson, number 58, after a fine first moto. There you see them both passing Ezra Lusk, number 34.
Ezra Lusk's jersey flapping in the breeze. I don't know if it came untucked or if he got hooked up with somebody with a handlebar and it yanked it out of there, but all 4 of these guys, or 3 of these guys, are in a great battle. It's a lapped rider there, excuse me. Casey Johnson leading this chase. Mike Craig sandwiched in between these 2 riders, and Ezra Lusk looks like he's not patient to sit back there. He's going to try to get around them both.
Ezra Lusk at the end of the Supercross season starting to put it all together. 3rd and 4th place finishes, and then finally Ed Longacre said, okay, I'll give you the green light. Don't just stay on 2 wheels, go for it. And then Ezra had some problems, but he has a rejuvenated season underway now.
You see the pit board as these guys come by. It's tough to even look over there and see it. You're trying to focus on the rider in front of you. And right there, Craig just slamming Casey Johnson. Dick Casey was trying to square that corner, left the door open a little bit, and Craig rode right through it. Smart move by Craig to position himself like that.
And here comes Ezra Lusk to the inside. Ezra trying to get on Casey Johnson's case, but it turned the other way around.
Well, it was a good idea, but Casey just a little too aggressive through there. Oh,
Mikel Pichon goes down. That'll give Kevin Windham a big break. Mikel Pichon dropping from 3rd place now as Wyndham, you see number 38, right behind him, picks the right line.
Well, you can see how lucky Wyndham was, too, to not run over the back of Pichon's bike, or Pichon, really, and go down and get caught up in that mess. But Pichon, and that hard pack stuff coming out of the corner, the berm stopped, and he was still leaned into the corner. And it kind of turns into from a bank turn more into a flat tracking type situation. He needed to let off just a little bit right there.
Mikel Pichon, though, getting right back up. He's in 4th position in front of Ferry. Mikel Pichon trying to make the most of this second moto after a couple of bad breaks.
Well, I don't think he's going to be able to do anything now. It's really tough to regain your composure and just find your rhythm again. Once those guys go by, they were on the move, and I doubt if he'll be able to catch them again. And you can see it when he fell, he was looking over up the track behind him to see who was coming next. He knows he's got plenty of space, so that's why you see him riding kind of relaxed right now. He knows he's got it.
Lamson out in front, followed by Dowd, who's starting to make a move on Lamson right now. And in 3rd, Kevin Wyndham after the spill by number 12. Here's Lammy, number 1. The defending champion from last year's 125 action. He is going all out right now.
You can see how aggressive he is. This is that section up the hill where he made the pass for the lead. And Lamson just looks fast. He looks good everywhere. He's in the right line. He's charging hard. And Pichon's got to be pretty disappointed because after winning the opening moto at Gainesville and then having problems in the second moto, not consistent. Here he had a great opportunity. He was in an overall winning position and just let it all slip away.
Team Honda's Steve Lamson getting by the lapper, Jeff Willow of Honda of Troy, and John Dowd is really starting to pull up now on Lamson. We might have a great finish to this race.
I don't know if there's any might about it. You see how fast Dowd came down that downhill. He made up a lot of time. He's doing to Lamson what Lamson's done to everyone else. He's applying the pressure. He's making up time here and there. And I don't know if Lamson's aware of it or not, but this is going to be a sprint to the finish. That's not a good feeling when you're through with a long day, 30-minute motos. Both these guys got to be a little tired.
Our Suzuki Field Summary, Lamson, Dowd, Wyndham. Will it stay that way? Well, we'll find out when we get back. The race for the checkers is on.
Over 25 years ago, Honda built the first ATV. Now we've built our most powerful, the Foreman 400. Where do we go from here? Just about anywhere we want.
Throw the Suzuki Katana 600 at a few of your favorite curves. You'll like how it feels, how it looks, and how much fun it is to ride. Pretty soon, you'll realize that life will never be the same. The Suzuki Katana.
Nearing the final stages of the second moto for the 125s here at Hangtown. John Dowd, number 7 of Team Yamaha, starting to move up now on Steve Lamson of Team Honda. This is going to be a knockdown, drag-out battle if Dowd can find the right lines to pick up more time.
Well, there's no question, and you can see the white flag waving right there. Both these guys know. Look at how close. Dowd almost runs into the back tire of Lamson. He's not losing any time. He maintained a lot of speed around that corner, but it's like you said, Art, can he find a line to pass him? I know he's got the speed to run with him, but passing's altogether different.
Well, he might have to gamble a bit and take some lines that he doesn't particularly care for.
I don't think he has any choice, and it looks like he wants to make that pass, and I can guarantee you're going to see some chances taken by John Dowd. He wants to make this pass.
Went way outside the big rut that time. Still didn't lose too much time to Steve Lamson. Final lap. Lammy looking for the sweep. John Dowd wants his first moto win of the year.
Well, this is the only way you can do it. I mean, when it's a track that's difficult to pass on, like some of the riders have said, in between motos, keeping the pressure on, sometimes you don't have to find a different line. If you just apply that pressure, you can force somebody into a mistake. Although Lamson's pretty solid, so we'll have to just wait and see. There's only about a half a lap to go.
Lamson holding up under the pressure in the first moto from Mikel Pichon for 9 laps, and then one in a breeze. This time he's being challenged big time by John Dowd. Coming around on the backside of the track. Not too much more territory to cover. John Dowd, bar to bar now. Oh, the crowd is going crazy. It's a record crowd here in Sacramento. Lamson, though, regains his advantage.
Dowd tried a little something different going into that corner, lost the front end just for a second, lost just a little bit of time. Lamson coming out there getting his feet off the pegs, but he doesn't lose much time. He keeps the throttle on.
Well, if that bike holds together, looks like Lamson now has the edge and the victory. If he can hold it here as he goes around the big horseshoe, coming down the hill to the cheers of the fans.
Now it would take a huge mistake by Lamson to lose this race. He's only got a couple of corners here, a tight little left and a right-hander off camber. Up to the finish line, you can see Dowd is there. It's not going to be enough, though.
Well, Dowd gave it a mighty battle as he almost spun out in back of Lammy. Lamson the checkers. He gets his sweep and now has won 3 of the 4 motos this year. Lamson, Dowd, Wyndham, Pichon, and Ferry, the top 5 on our Suzuki Field Summary. Ezra Lust leading off the bottom 5 of the top 10. Adonez, Ashkenazi, Johnson, and Raynard. And Davey Coombs is down in the area now with our winner.
Steve, what a close race there at the end. What were you thinking when Dowd came up like that?
He was coming up fast because I didn't even know he was back there because I was too busy going through lappers and not looking at my pit board. And next thing I know, I took a peek back there, and there Johnny was. So he rode a strong race. I just kicked it up at the end there, and he was trying.
What about the fans cheering you on? This is like your hometown track. Did that give you any inspiration there at the end?
Yeah, it definitely did. I mean, they were cheering me on every lap, especially when I got close at the end because they want to see good racing, so that's what I wanted to put on for them.
Right. And 2 national wins in a row. Great way to start your title defense, huh?
Yeah, it's great. A lot better than last year, so I'm going to just put my head down and work hard. I mean, my bike worked great today. Cliff White, Mike Gossler, and Bill's Pipes, all the guys did a really great job on it.
Congratulations, Steve.
Thank you.
Here's how they'll stand on the podium. Steve Lamson with the sweep, John Dowd and Mikel Pichon. It was really John Dowd that brought this crowd alive, sharing in the glory.
John, at the end there, where'd you get that speed at?
Well, I don't know. It's something I always seem to have with me. I don't know why, but like I was saying, after the first moto, I was hoping to get out with them guys, in the beginning, and I did. I was lucky enough to get a pretty good start, and I just, I had the energy to push right till the end, and almost.
We saw halfway through the track on the backside of there, you got right beside him coming back on that ski jump.
Yeah, we were kind of running the same lines and just going the same speed, so I just figured the last couple laps I had to try something, so I tried some wild lines and kind of like a last-ditch effort, but it came close, but just a tad short.
Right. How you feel about the rest of the championship? You probably moved up considerably in the standings today.
Yeah, well, I had a DNF at Gainesville at the first race, which definitely didn't help me in the points, but championships have been won and stuff like that from behind like that before. So, and Steve is actually a perfect example of it last year. So, all I can do is try to do the best I can for the rest of the year and hope for the best.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Lamson with the sweep increases his lead to 23 points after 2 venues. Pichon's 3rd overall moves him into 2nd place in the standings with Dowd, Dobb, and Casey Johnson in the top 5.
It looks like it's going to be a 2-man battle this year, just like Ryan Hughes and Lamson last year. It looks like it's going to be Lamson and Pichon and perhaps Wyndham. If he can get it together, as the kid's got the speed, he's going to have to come from behind, though.
Oh, it'll be difficult to crack that veteran style of Steve Lamson, though, that's for sure, as the top 3 wave to the fans here at Hangtown. The 250s coming up next.
Take strokes off your game, guaranteed.
Jack Nicklaus's personal technique that helps straighten slices.
Take strokes off your game,
guaranteed. Dave Peltz's revolutionary technique that has even the pros putting more accurately.
Take strokes off your game, guaranteed.
Get out of sand without sweat. Greg Norman's Earth Mover secret shows you how, guaranteed. Now take 2, 3, 4, even more strokes off your game with the secrets you'll get in your free issue of Golf Magazine.
Take strokes off your game, guaranteed.
Master teacher Jim McLean's simple secret to longer, straighter tee shots every time. Call now to get your free issue of Golf Magazine, plus receive your free Golf Magazine umbrella. Shoot lower, play better, or you don't pay. That's the Golf Magazine guarantee. Call now for your free no-obligation issue of Golf Magazine. If you decide to subscribe, get 11 more issues, 12 in all, for just $16.97. Plus this Golf Magazine umbrella free with your paid subscription. Call now.
First time you see it, you'll say 2 words, and the first one is holy. You can't wait. Valkyrie, May 25th.
Welcome back to Hangtown, just outside Sacramento, California. Art Ekman and David Bailey. The 250s are starting to rev it up now for their motos, but I'm not so sure, David, they could match that great action of the 125s. What a race.
That was exciting, and it looked like, to tell you the truth, it was going to be a yawner because John Dowd wasn't making any time on Lamson, and all of a sudden he changed his lines a little bit. And he started riding, looked like he had nothing to lose. He was a little out of shape here and there. The crowd got into it, and he caught Steve. And the last lap, it looks like he had a couple of chances to get around, but Lamson wasn't going to let it happen here today.
As we turn to the 250s, Jeremy McGrath's Supercross streak just broken in St. Louis. Will there be any carryover now to the outdoors?
Well, there's a couple of ways to look at it. One is that Jeremy doesn't like to be beaten, and he's going to work twice as hard this week. It makes him mad, and these guys could all take a pounding here today. But another way to look at it was that Jeff Emig, his first legitimate win in a Supercross, beating Jeremy fair and square. He's going to have a lot of confidence, and he rode well here last year, winning the second moto.
Ryan Hughes, third in the point standings, will not be here.
Right. Well, that injury that he suffered in Charlotte to his jaw, they had to put a plate in there, so he's going to sit out this race and probably at least another race, too.
Okay, let's take a look at the point standings right now. After Gatorback Park, Jeremy sweeping the 2 motos, taking second in both. Jeff Emig and Ryan Hughes not with us today, taking third in both motos.
They get a look at Jeff Emig patting down his starting place, and John Dowd talking to Bradshaw right here. He knows what that track is like. Dowd just came off the track. Some of the lines that were good in the first moto may not be good in the second moto, and Bradshaw's going to be hip to that.
Albertine Ward. Jeremy McGrath coming off his first Supercross loss in St. Louis. He's with Lammy.
I was going way inside the whole way. Because
well, after the initial part of being upset, I mean, and disappointed in myself for not riding probably the best I could have, I was relieved. I mean, it was a big relief. After 13 wins in a row, I mean, everyone's asking, what are you going to do? Can you keep up the streak? Can you do this? Can you do that? And, you know, it's just, it gets to you after week, and I mean, I can't win all the races. And now we just have to come here at Hangtown and start a new streak.
He's actually well into a new streak. If you go back to last year, he's won 5 outdoor motos in a row.
Pretty dominant, this guy's either indoors or outdoors, and there was a time when outdoors no one really considered him a threat, but that's all changed right now. You can see the #1 plate. That should tell something.
Emig right next to him. LaRocco, Lawrence, number 13, as they get set. The gates dropped, and Jeremy, a great start. Jeremy McGrath will make it to that corner with Doug Henry on the outside. It's Henry and Albertine, Swink, Button, and Emig in good position with Jeremy out in front.
Doug Henry up the inside right there. Boy, almost gets into Jeremy. You can see they put some water on the racetrack, so it's a big advantage to get out front. Jeremy's going to be nice and clean at the end of lap 1 if he can keep it upright and just complete the first lap, and the guys behind him are going to get sprayed.
Albertine and Henry really going at it. There's Lawrence. He's going down.
That gets slick like that. They water the track, and the very surface of the top layer is slippery, and they get all that dry, dusty stuff underneath. And you can't tell if it's slick until you actually find out like that. So now, when you go down in the first lap, you lose a lot of positions.
It's good to see Doug Henry up there in second place, coming back off that broken back and doing a great job in his comeback effort.
I'm really impressed with this. I think everyone is. He's got a really good response from the crowd at all the different events we've gone to. And last year at this point in the series, Henry was strong. He had a little problem in the first moto. Otherwise, he could have come away with the overall win.
He was 1 and 2 with Jeremy in the points race, as we saw a glimpse of number 23, Brian Swink. Jeremy now starting to pull a little lead on Doug Henry, and you can see the gap between Henry and the third-place bike.
Looks like Brian Swink has finally made his way into third. He's got Albertine on his tail, and it looks like Doug
Henry went down as we breeze by. Jimmy Button also into the play, number 100. Button and Albertine hounding Swink.
What a cluster going into that corner. There's only room for one bike. All three of them trying to fit it in there, but Swink's the one that's able to hang on to it, and what a disappointment for Henry. Great opportunity for him to get in there and try to get a good finish, but that's the kind of stuff that's been happening to him all year, so the results really don't say how well he's been riding.
McGrath, Swink, and Albertine are top three, and we'll be back to Hangtown with 250 action in a moment.
Every day, America Online is making it easier for people to live, work, and play.
Hey, Dan, ready for the game?
I can't go to the game today.
What?
I got to send my mom a birthday gift, then book plane tickets for our trip next week, and my kids got to go to the library to look up dinosaurs.
Hey, we can take care of that right now with America Online.
We can?
Yeah, we can send your mom flowers, order those plane tickets. We can even look up dinosaurs in Compton's Encyclopedia.
With America Online, you get instant news and sports, financial updates, online magazines, and easy access to the internet. Call now for your free America Online startup kit and 15 free online hours.
Flowers are sent, plane tickets are booked. Here come the dinosaurs.
That's great.
Downloading's easy. I can even send an email on the internet. And we'll check it all out later, after the game.
So how do you get America Online?
Well, that's easy too. You just call their 800 number.
Call 1-800-314-7272 now for your free America Online startup kit with free software and 15 free online hours. It's everything you need to get online, so call today 1-800-314-7272.
Forget the good old days. They were never this good. You can't wait. Valkyrie, May 25th.
AMA Motocross on ESPN2 is being brought to you by Dunlop. Simply the best for your bike. Art Ekman, David Bailey, Davey Coombs from Hangtown near Sacramento as the first moto for 250s underway. Jeremy McGrath is pulling out a lead out front.
You can see Emig just behind Button, try to square that corner off, trying to take a little different line. Look at Button way on the outside. He's so concerned with Emig, he can't pick his own good line. So that's the kind of thing you want to see when you're chasing a guy. When he's looking at you, you know you got him eventually.
Jimmy Button, running in Europe last year after losing a factory ride, is back in America. He's got his hands full now, and down goes Button. Emig keeps the bike alive.
Well, that's unfortunate. He just stuffed it in there. That berm's getting deep. There comes Bradshaw. Here's another look. Emig just pounds up the inside. And that's what you want to do, apply that pressure. He probably had Button thinking a little bit too much about, other than what he was supposed to be thinking about, was just to get into that berm and ride around there smooth. And Emig lost a little bit of time there, but he was able to keep it upright. So.
Got a little bop of the back of the head and the shoulders as well. Here's Brian Swink looking good in second place. Jeremy McGrath is way out in front. Albertine in third, number 16 on the Suzuki.
Albertine's fast outdoors. He was really fast here last year and a little bit out of shape here and there, but you know, he's starting to get it wired. He makes a lot of mistakes, but he's learning. If there's a strength, it's outdoors, and he seems to be comfortable on this racetrack.
Brian Swink running a 125s last year, but got injured, and I think he only ran about 4 races before having to retire in the outdoor season. And then coming back, of course, this year with Honda of Troy once again. And here's the big battle. Bradshaw makes the move for 5th place.
He kind of was a little bit of a gift there. It looked like he was definitely applying the pressure, may have got around him, but still, Larry Ward reached over and was fiddling with his hand. I'm not sure what he was doing there, but it looked like something he had to do. He looked around like, well, I got to do it sometime, and that enabled Bradshaw to get around.
Oh, we got a battle of old veterans right here. Old, as you say, in Supercross and motocross anyway. Larry Ward and Mike LaRocco. Would it be nice to see LaRocco come forward in this one?
It sure would. And just like Emig coming off of that beating he gave Jeremy in St. Louis to stop that streak, LaRocco was in the mix and actually moved his way into the lead a couple of times before eventually getting third. So LaRocco is finding his confidence, starting to get comfortable on the first cycle.
Talking with Jeff Emig before the race today, and he still wasn't out of the clouds. So what a great victory that was to break Jeremy's string.
That must have been. I'm sure Emig is still feeling pretty confident about it, but you look at the situation right now, Emig's buried in the pack still, and Jeremy's got the whole shot in a huge lead. I think LaRocco was a big part of that victory. Not taking anything away from Emig, but LaRocco got in there and slammed Jeremy, and just like he did to Larry Ward right there.
LaRocco.
That really gave Jeremy an extra battle to try to get back up and try to take it away from Emig, and there just wasn't enough time.
Larry Ward once again reaching down to his forearm. I wonder what's wrong there.
I don't know, but it's obviously something that is important to take care of because he's doing it at inopportune times when he's going to get past, but he knows it'll probably make up more time later in the race. It's interesting. Maybe we'll get a tip on that from Davey Coombs.
Albertine putting the pressure on Swink. This is the battle for second place. Albertine tries the inside. He's got good leverage, and it's Greg Albertine in second place.
Smart move. Look at Swink, wide open back around the outside. Almost gets him back. But not a good battle. You can hear the crowd. And it's amazing. These guys are in a great battle. They're going and pulling out all the stops. They're still losing time to the leader.
Well, Albertine very pleased with the way that Suzuki is running right now. In fact, he says, I wouldn't change a thing.
Well, LaRocco is, on the other hand, changed everything on his bike, but lately he's kind of left it alone. He's starting to ride a little better.
Our field summary has McGrath out in front. Albertine just moving into second. We'll be back with more.
What have you been waiting for?
I've spent tens of thousands of dollars over the years on newspaper advertising, and these people tell me they never heard of me before until they saw the cable ad. We get to pick a market depending upon the channels that we advertise on. We always have people coming in saying they saw the ad. Our purposes are better served with the money we spend in cable than other types of advertising.
You know your business, we know advertising. For a free consultation, call Continental Cable today.
Get the performance of a Volkswagen for $0 down and just $219 a month or 1.9 APR. 2 years or 24,000 miles of no-cost scheduled maintenance and a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty, the longest in the industry. It's the Volkswagen Jetta GL. Now just $0 down and $219 a month or 1.9 APR. That's right, $0 down and $219 a month or 1.9 APR. Only at your Southern California Volkswagen dealer.
Blades hang at Sports Center. It's a little interesting, though, when some of the old-timers stop by to share opinions.
Take a look at these highlights. All you see are the dunk shots. Yeah, whatever happened to the two-handed set shot? A real highlight, in my estimation, is a nice chest pass or a bounce pass. What's with those baggy shorts? You need a pair of suspenders to hold them up. When we played, we just had a slab of rubber on a canvas top, and that was it. Come on, chest pass, chest pass. Come on, Bob, think quick.
George.
You're going.
We're back at Hangtown. Moto 1 action, 250s. Jeremy McGrath with a big lead. This is Bradshaw and LaRocco, the two veterans. They are in 5th and 6th as Bradshaw coming down the hill. Look at those ruts. They're starting to build up. Bradshaw back on the power. LaRocco can't pass him.
LaRocco had a good idea, though, coming down the inside, at least letting Bradshaw know he's there. Bradshaw, remember that the next lap if that happens again.
Oh, Bradshaw, lots of speed down the hill, but here comes LaRocco. Mike LaRocco stumbling just a little bit, but he's got the edge.
Big gamble coming down the inside, going through the middle of those braking bumps. He's got the strength to pull that off. Mike doesn't necessarily ride the smoothest line. He just rides the fastest line, whatever he's got to do to get there quicker, and it worked that time.
They've been trying to work out their... Oh, and look at here. Greg Albertine's bike has just quit on him.
I guess that's what we could assume anyway. I don't see any other reason why he would be stopped like that. He's got his goggles off, pushing the bike, so obviously it's not running. What a disappointment. It looked like he was going to be able to challenge Jeremy, at least the next guy with the best opportunity to challenge Jeremy anyway, and now he's out, so Jeremy's all alone.
Ian Harrison, his mechanic, going over to join him to see what the problem is. He'll probably have a good deal of work to do before the second moto on that bike.
Well, he'll also have a horrible starting position for the second moto, because if you DNF a moto, you go to the line with last pick. And so he'll be having to fight his way from probably a pretty bad start.
What's the old cliche, David? If Albertine didn't have any bad luck, he wouldn't have any luck at all?
If bad luck were a country, he'd be king. That was Davey Coombs' line earlier in the season.
Still has the presence of mind to take the pit board back for his mechanic and the long walk here in motocross.
He's got to be frustrated. I mean, he doesn't look like he's having tantrum or anything, which is good to see. I'd much rather carry that pit board, Art, than my motorcycle, though.
That's right. Taking advantage of Albie's problems, Jeff Emming, number 2. Emming moving into third now and has got good speed. And he is gunning now for number 23, Brian Swink, in second place. Let's go to Davey Coombs.
Greg, what exactly happened?
Well, I'm not sure. I'm sure something's gone wrong with my clutch. I'm not 100% sure, but the thing just stopped, wouldn't pull anymore.
You were having a great race up till then. You got to be disappointed.
Yeah, I'm very disappointed, you know what I mean? As I passed Brian, the thing started getting worse and worse, and then the guys closed up on me, and I feel I still had a chance to catch Jeremy, but it's life.
Obviously disappointed, but being a pretty good sport about it. Albertine, you see the way he's like, the sweat was burning his eyes. You can imagine what that's like. I mean, it's not just because he stopped. These guys are going through that while they're out there. So there's so many little things you got to deal with as a motocross rider, and you don't ever have any communication to the pits or anything. So you're out there all alone for half hour, and it's extremely tough.
Right now, trying to deal with Brian Swink is Jeff Emming. He has poked the wheel on both sides, taking the same line out of that corner. Emming and Brian Swink in a bar-to-bar battle. Emming, he makes the move.
Good line coming out of that corner. He was just putting all the kinds of pressure on Swink, had Swink thinking, trying to guess where he was going to go and cover the move, and worked out perfectly in the end. Emmett got around. He reaches up, tries to clear his vision, and now he'll set his sights on McGrath, who's already pretty far gone at this point.
It is a battle for second place in this first moto of 250 action from Hangtown. We'll be back with more action in a moment.
See bike. Want bike. Buy bike. Get free helmet. Right now, during Suzuki Fest Summer, when you buy a sleek, responsive Katana 600 or 750, you get a hot Katana helmet totally free. Wow! You can also get some incredible deals, like 0 down, low monthly payments, or low APR financing. So come on into your participating Suzuki dealer. Get a hot new Katana, a great deal, and a free helmet to hide that silly grin.
Enter the Performance Zone with Splitfire Performance V spark plugs.
You get your passing gear, you're gone. The difference in gas mileage has been fantastic.
Splitfire Performance V spark plugs mean better performance, more horsepower, and better mileage. So say the experts and the people who use them.
They're the best plugs I ever put in my cars.
Enter the Performance Zone, only with Splitfire Performance Vs, guaranteed.
How do you keep track of everything that happens in the world of motor racing? You drive with us. RPM tonight, the ultimate wrap-up of the day that was in the world of motor racing. Monday through Friday at 7 and Sunday at 8, only on ESPN2.
We are back. Moto 1 of the 250 action. Jeremy McGrath way out in front. As Jeff Emming's in second place, we go back into the field now with LaRocco and Bradshaw. They've had almost a race-long battle. Number 8, Mike LaRocco. Now, they say that he's a lot happier with the bike. You notice that LaRocco rides further back on the bike. What they've done is tried to bring the front wheel back on it so that he has more control out of the corners.
Well, I don't know what they've ended up with finally, but he's having a tough time trying to work through all those lapped riders, and he seems to be riding more comfortable now. So whatever they did, I hope they leave it alone and just give him a chance to build confidence on it.
So they got it sorted out anyway, and here's Bradshaw, number 28. He looks like he's getting stronger as the season's gone on.
Well, he does. You know, it's just, I can't figure it out. I've watched every week trying to figure out why these guys aren't up there consistently, and I can't figure out why, because they both ride fantastic.
Well, let's see if Davey Coombs can get the word from Steve Butler.
We see him dicing with LaRocca. How do you think that's going for him?
It seems all right. I see him making a lot of little mistakes, just like 1 or 2 each lap in different places. I think if he could, you know, kind of concentrate on really racing the track, he could maybe drop a second or 2 off his lap time, and I think that's all it'll take to pull away from LaRocca. But you know, there's still a fair bit of race left, and they're slowly catching swing, so I think maybe if he can hang with LaRocca, he could wear him down.
Jeremy McGrath way out in front with Emick in second, Brian Swink in third, and we see 4th, 5th, and 6th.
Larry Ward starting to pick up the pace. He's caught. I mean, we've been focusing on LaRocca and Bradshaw, but right there, look at Larry Ward is right behind these guys, coming up on the final lap. Bradshaw going kind of wide right there.
Here comes Larry Ward. Ward's got the momentum. He puts the power down. Larry Ward in the final lap. And yes, he's got the edge on Bradshaw.
Wow, that changed everything. It probably caught Bradshaw by surprise. He's all focused on LaRocca, and all of a sudden here's Larry Ward. Kind of had a chance to go in there and put him over that berm back there just past the finish line, but Larry was just far enough ahead to keep out of it. And the way Larry's riding, he could probably get around LaRocca too.
Well, he almost left a toe behind as he hit that rut. Yeah. Larry Ward looking very smooth.
Now, last year, the outdoor season didn't go so good for him, but he's looking strong in this moto right here, but not quite as strong as this guy. Look how clean he is. Doesn't even have any dust or dirt on him. He probably don't have to just use the same gear in the second moto.
Oh, and it's a beautiful day here in Sacramento with a little breeze to keep the heat down. Sometimes we've had a blistering day here at Hangtown. And others, of course, we've mentioned prior. Lots of bad weather, snow, rain. But it's a perfect day for motocross. Jeremy McGrath, the last pit board as he stands up. He takes the checkers for his 6th consecutive national moto win. Here in the first moto at Hangtown, he made it look easy. A sigh of relief, taking the goggles off, trying to get some fresh air. Here comes Wes McCoy, the team manager. He's up there first. We'll be back in a moment.
Take strokes off your game, guaranteed. Jack Nicklaus's personal technique that helps straighten slices. Take strokes off your game, guaranteed. Dave Peltz's revolutionary technique that has top pros putting better. Let Golf Magazine show you how to shoot lower, play better, or you don't pay. That's the Golf Magazine guarantee. Call now for your free issue of Golf Magazine. If you decide to subscribe, get 11 more issues, 12 in all, for just $16.97. Plus, get your free Golf Magazine umbrella. Call now.
Right, the way to do it is take the body out and the head's gonna fall. You gotta rip. You gotta dig.
The USA takes on Germany in amateur boxing action Sunday at 10:30.
AMA Motocross on ESPN2 is being brought to you by Splitfire. Enter the performance zone. Splitfire Performance V Spark Plugs. Jeremy McGrath keeps his perfect record alive now here in motocross. Jeff Emick cutting 6 seconds off his lead, but it took him a long time to get into second place. A breeze for McGrath. Swink in third, LaRocca, Ward, Bradshaw, Lewis, Lawrence, Button, and Henry. Davey is with our winner now.
Jeremy, start to finish, that's the way you want to do it all the time, huh?
Yeah, I'm relaxed now and I get my starts back.
How was the track out there? It looked like you had a really nice rhythm going, especially at the beginning of the race.
Yeah, the beginning I felt really strong, and I felt actually strong the whole race, just kind of some lappers. It's kind of one line, and if you don't get a start, some lappers I think getting you a little bit away and hold you down a little.
About the halfway point, Jeff Emick passed by and Swink for second. Did that make you nervous at all?
No, not really. I was checking out my pit board the whole time, and there's probably a few lines I could take different for second moto, but you know, I just wanted to pace myself, didn't want to get too tired in the very beginning.
Yeah. How much energy did you have left at the end?
Oh, I can ride a lot longer.
Good job, Jeremy.
Thanks.
Brian Swink not giving up second place easily after a fine run. But here's where Jeff Emig took over second place. Davey Combs is with him now.
Jeff, you didn't get the kind of start that Jeremy got, but it looked like at the end of the race you definitely had the pace.
Well, you know, I didn't get off to a very good start there, like you said, and, you know, and I was behind some of those guys kind of picking my way through. I didn't really start with enough tear-offs, you know, so I was battling. You know, I was trying to wipe my lens and stuff, you know, but I felt real good. I mean, I tried staying relaxed, you know, and riding a good fast pace. So, you know, I think that I found some lines out there that I can use in the second moto, and, you know, hopefully I'll come out on top of this thing.
It seemed like your last 3 or 4 laps were your best laps of the moto.
Yeah. My mechanic, Jeremy Albrecht, he was giving me my times, you know, each time that I came around because you know, that's really what we're worried about, you know, is the lap times, you know, and getting those down. So you know, we had a good race there, and you know, definitely my last 4 laps were definitely my fastest as usual.
We really wish you luck in the second moto.
Okay, thanks.
A big moto for Honda of Troy's Brian Swink. His first top 3 performance since the '94 season. And by now, Davey should be with him.
Finally. Brian, what a surprise to see you in the winter circle. It's a great ride. It's probably your best ride of the year.
Yeah, for sure it is. I got a good start. Unlike me, you know, usually I start way behind, but I got a good start that time, so it's a lot easier. You get out front, and you ride hard for 10 minutes, and then you got a bunch of breathing room so you can rest a little bit.
It seemed like there's a terrific battle behind you with Bradshaw and LaRocco and Ward and those guys, but once you settled down, you actually pulled away from those guys.
Yeah, I slowed up in the middle. I hit a mid-moto bog, you know, and slowed up a little, and they started catching me, and then I seen them, and I got relaxed and kind of picked it back up, and, you know, they never got close enough to pass, so I was happy with that.
Well, congratulations. We wish you luck in the second moto.
Thanks a lot.
Moto 2 coming up next from Hangtown near Sacramento.
Sprint Sense International gives you great rates to countries all over the world. What more could you want?
How about some cash?
Cash would be good. Yes, some cash back.
Good point. Presenting Sprint Sense International with something new, cash back. Call now for these simply great rates on calls to countries all around the world. Plus, get rewarded with 10% cash back for every dollar you spend.
For me, that would be at least $100 a year.
So call now for just 50 cents a minute to these countries in Europe, 65 cents to these countries in Asia, 70 cents to Japan, and now 10 cents a minute to Canada on weekends. Call now and we'll even switch you for free.
What about domestic calls?
You'll get cash back on domestic calls too. And with Sprint Sense International, you'll get a great 10 cents a minute rate on every state-to-state call. So call now.
Cash back would be great.
Good idea.
Cash back. It's one phrase that's understood around the world. Get simply great rates now and 10% cash back. Call now, 1-800-293-6175.
Just what does it take to get in shape and stay that way? If you think you need to go to a gym to lose weight, get in shape, and have a body like this, think again. This is Bowflex, a real workout at home that's so good, we guarantee results in 6 weeks or your money back. It's not magic, it's Bowflex. Call us and ask for a free video and brochure on the machine that works like an entire gym, but fits anywhere in your home.
There's 2 things that are real important in choosing a starting position. The first one is the starting gate, and you need the straightest line possible to the first turn. That's what you try to improve. That way, if you get a good start, you can go any way you want on the starting line, and if for some reason your buddy beside you gets this jump on you, you'll be able to go in there and brake and stay tight to the inside of the corner. Most of the guys tend to blow through the first turn. If you're inside, you can brake whenever you want to, come out in a good position. I think Jeremy has a great ability of doing that, and if you look at some of the videos in the past, he might not get the whole shot, but because of the location of where he's at on the start, he might be able to brake, hang tight, and come out in second or third. For the Honda 1-800-COLLECT Fox Racing Team, I'm Skip Norfolk.
Skip, the very, well, more than capable mechanic of Jeremy McGrath. What a team that has been.
Good team. You know, when you're winning, it's easy to say that everything's going good, but things do seem to go good, and I think that they're going good because they are a good team. You see Albertine all the way on the inside. I told you you'd have to line up last with that DNF. DNF, of course, means did not finish, so he's going to have to get an incredible jump off the gate, not get stuck in that first corner.
Okay, getting set for the big cavalry charge of 40 bikes coming down to that small aperture in turn 1. Phil Lawrence, number 13, gets the whole shot, breaking into the lead. Fellow independent team riders Swank and Lewis also in front of McGrath. McGrath in 4th position, you can tell, and he'll put on a big charge, I'm sure, in this first lap.
He's so clever in that first lap. When he doesn't get a good start, he still turns it into one, because by the end of the first lap, he catches everybody by surprise, makes all those passes. But Phil Lawrence, who went down the first moto, rode good despite having gone down. Now he's got a real opportunity, as does Swink. 3rd in that first moto, riding good here, ahead of McGrath.
Number 11, Kyle Lewis, the former Mickey Thompson champion, took a 9th at Gatorback. And his best moto there was a 7th. He took a 7th at the first moto. He's trying to catch up. He's not an easy guy to get around for McGrath.
No, and Jeremy will find that out here pretty quick. Also, Larry Ward right up in there, too. Remember, he put on a charge late in the race, had to come from a bad start, a better start this time. And, you know, I think for Lawrence, that good start, he's got Swink and Lewis back there kind of as buffers to sort of keep McGrath off his tail for a little while and help him focus on what he should be focusing on.
Now, if you were out in front, if you were Phil Lawrence, right now going through your mind, I would assume it's a, let's take advantage of this.
I just want to see the checkered flag, Art, right now. First lap, just get it over with. I win. I don't have to deal with this pressure, because you know McGrath's coming regardless of what happens during this race. McGrath is going to be there.
Well, you had an infamous race here back in 1984. You and Brock Glover really going at it in the 500s.
It was great, but I was coming from behind, so all the pressure was on him. See, I don't like pressure.
What happened, though?
Well, I beat him.
Yeah, but you took him down too, didn't you?
Well, he took me down.
Oh, okay. David Bailey at his best.
McGrath going to work. Look at him going wide, going tight. This guy is so clever to watch. I mean, a lot of guys do that. You know, it's just, I mean, it's like basketball. I have compared him to Jordan. You know, how if Jordan does something, a lot of people do the same things. But,
they bump.
But, it's always, you know, more of an emphasis on McGrath. It's always amplified a little bit more. But, you know, why not learn from the best? He goes around the outside. It had just enough on Lewis, so Lewis couldn't do anything back to him, although he tried, and now he's got the pressure on Swank.
Gosh, in 2 laps, he's already picked up to 3rd now. Lawrence 13, 23 is Swank, and Jeremy McGrath. So you have a great Western rider out front, Honda of Troy, and then Team Honda in the 1, 2, 3 positions. Jeremy's wasting no time going after Brian Swank.
Even if he can't make a pass, look at him. He doesn't follow. He takes a different berm just in case. Right here, he pretty much is forced to follow if you don't go anywhere. If you go somewhere else through that berm, you're going to lose time. And Jeremy, though, he, like I said, if he doesn't make the pass, he's got so much pressure on you that all you can do is to think about him. You got to put your foot out for the corner, and his front wheel's in the way. So, I mean, that just really messes with you.
Jeremy with a much easier first moto than Brian Swank as well. It had to take some energy away from Brian.
I'm sure it did, but yeah, Brian's in pretty good shape. He talked about having that mid-moto bog, but he was still able, he still had the fitness to come back and get some strength in the end.
Here goes Jeremy to the inside. Good clean pass on Brian Swank, and in 3 laps now, he's moved from 4th to 2nd.
So Jeremy, I think, is going to be more concerned with where Emig is, because that's the overall.
Oh, Lawrence slipped up there. Lawrence slipping up, and Jeremy McGrath now in great position. Phil Lawrence has had the lead since he got the whole shot, but here comes Jeremy McGrath. Let's go down to Davey.
I'm with Dean Gibson. This is Phil Lawrence mechanic. Dean, Phil's hand's hurting him, right?
Yeah, in practice, he crashed back there, and it's really swollen. In the first moto, he couldn't really hold on. He crashed twice and hurt even more, and now he's had ice on a hole before the moto, but still hurting him pretty good. He can't really use the front brake too good, so he's just hoping to get a good finish and hold on to it, hopefully.
Lawrence riding with pain with that hurt hand. He and his mechanic going to high school together in Beaumont, California. He had good lap times in practice against Jeremy McGrath. Was only a 2nd behind Jeremy. But right now with that hand injury, he's just trying to hold on.
Jeremy continuing to pick different lines and keep Lawrence guessing. Right there, look at that.
Oh, got a little bump on him on the way by.
Jeremy set that up going in, already clears his vision. Now it's all up to him. Already in the first, I mean, a lot of the guys were talking about how it's kind of tough to pass out there. LaRocca was saying it's tough to make up time. Even Jeremy, after the first moto, said it's kind of one line. Look at this. He moves by everybody in the first, like, 7-8 minutes of the race, already in the lead.
McGrath, our leader, with Lawrence in 2nd place on our Honda Field Summary. And we'll be back with the finish of Moto 2 coming up.
Equals results. There's an awesome power that can eliminate over half of our nation's defense forces. It's everywhere, and it can strike at any time. Who has this incredible power? You do. If you employ National Guard and Reserve members, you need to use your power wisely, because today, the Guard and Reserve make up over half of our country's defense. So when they need time off to serve, be a hero. Give them the freedom to protect ours.
Return to a time of true Olympic gold.
I didn't even think about making any money in sport. I can tell you, you did it for the love of sports.
Strip away the years. Rediscover the Summer Games. Unadorned, pure, and simple. In never-before-seen home movies. With Olympic athletes telling their own stories in their own words.
This is what you've trained 10,000 hours for.
Return to the spirit of the games. Premieres Tuesday, June 4th.
Question. What do you call hockey when the ice melts?
Roller Hockey International. All the action. Hold the ice.
For some, it's a ticket to the show. Others are just glad to be there. But for all, it's the baseball dream of a lifetime. The 50th Anniversary College World Series. Coverage continues tomorrow at 7:30 on ESPN2.
AMA Motocross on ESPN2 is being brought to you by Suzuki. Right now, your Suzuki dealer has the ride you've been waiting for and the financing to get it. Jeremy McGrath now in the lead as we see Kyle Lewis. There's Lawrence, Swink, Lewis, Larry Ward in that order.
Well, everyone came through there, feet off the pegs, flying around, swapping. The track's starting to get rough now. Look at this pace. Albertine, who had to come from a horrible start, he got pinched off in the first corner. Came out of there maybe, I don't know, guess best I could tell, about 15th or so. Already starting to put the pressure on these guys, and we're going to see now the speed that we didn't get a chance to see in the first moto.
Boy, those ruts are getting deep, David.
Well, it's important to not get your foot pegs and stuff hung up in those, and it takes incredible balance to get through there, not scrub off any speed.
Here comes Larry Ward on the outside, testing Kyle Lewis. There you see Swink and Lawrence in front of those two. Albie has really closed the gap.
And as they came up the hill, it looked like maybe Ward had a run at Lewis. Lewis moved right over on him. As he does it again right there, I don't know if he's doing that on purpose to cut him off, but Larry Ward might think so.
He's using all the track. Albie, meanwhile, is on the rear tire of Larry Ward. Greg Albertine, nothing but bad luck this year for the three-time former world champion.
This is really turning out to be a great battle. It looks like Lawrence riding in pain and maybe not able to ride as fast as he would without that injury to the hand, but apparently kind of holding up the show just a little bit.
Looks like a roadblock, yeah, that he's creating a freight train effect.
Morocco's at the tail end of it now, and he's made up some time, so everybody's starting to bunch up tight now.
Boy, you saw a good shot of the roost that Phil Lawrence shot up into the face of Brian Swink.
As Swink came over the crest of that hill, you see his feet came off the pegs a little bit. They just gripped the bike, landed right back on the foot pegs, but look at that battle.
Yes, Lawrence. Then we've got Swink, Lewis, Ward, and Albertine.
Lawrence probably wishes this could be on a day when he felt a little stronger. In second place in a national, now he's got all these guys breathing down his neck, and it seems inevitable that with the pain that he's riding in, they may start getting around him one by one. That's not a good feeling.
Did you see the little abrasion under Jeremy's right eye when he was interviewed? He got caught by a rock in practice.
Rocks flying, that roost gets in there underneath that full-face helmet. You have a tendency to duck automatically. And when you duck, the rocks go right in. If you just held your head straight, that front part of the helmet would protect you. But Lawrence made a couple of mistakes going through the mechanics area, over the finish line jump rather, and these guys tightened up on him. They can see that he's kind of riding wounded, and they'll take advantage, you can guarantee that.
Great Western's Phil Lawrence. And here comes Larry Ward trying to make a move on Kyle Lewis. They were former teammates last year with Sizzler Nolene.
Still trying to make a move on that uphill, can't get around. And I was just thinking, if it wasn't for Jeremy, this would be a great race.
A battle for second place it's become. Davey Coombs in the mechanics area with Skip Norfolk.
Skip, while Jeremy's been pulling away, Lawrence is throwing up a roadblock. How much do you think that's helping your rider?
Well, it was helping us a lot, and then for some reason we lost 3 seconds to that pack, I guess you could call it. But, you know, it's good. Those guys are racing, and that's going to be an advantage for Jeremy because he's out there riding and nobody's pressuring him from behind. He's kind of got open track right now. So it's definitely going to work to our advantage. And a guy who's probably the biggest threat's behind all of them. So we're sitting pretty good right now.
And you're talking about Jeff Emick, of course.
Yep, that'd be him.
Well, behind McGrath, we've got Lawrence, Swink, Lewis, Ward, and Albertine. And it's been this freight train for second place through most of our race.
He said that they had actually, this pack had caught Jeremy. And behind this pack, you've got Morocco and then Emick. So it's going to get even tighter, and this pack will be forced to pick up the pace because Emick and Morocco, I think, are going a little bit quicker than these guys are going right now.
Let's check out first place. Here's Jeremy. Oh, Jeremy falls down.
Unbelievable.
He's human?
Yeah, a little bit. That'll probably be in the record book someday, too. Jeremy fell once.
You see the huge lead he had, though. And so he retains his cool, gets back up, gets the bike started after he washed out. And we'll be back with the conclusion of our second moto of 250 action after these messages.
These are no ordinary races. These are no ordinary riders. And this was no ordinary year. Honda, not your ordinary motorcycles.
Hi, Chris, it's Mom. Look, honey, I've got a lot of work to do, so I won't be home until late again. Just do the usual, you know, fix yourself a little something, anything you want. Oh, and I left some money for you on the counter. Use it for whatever you like. Now, Dad won't be home until Tuesday. He says hi. Oh, and somebody told me you quit soccer. Is anything wrong? Well, just leave me a note. Love you. Bye.
9-time world champion, the Condor, Matt Hoffman. Oh! He's mangled countless bicycles and numerous preconceived notions performing feats hitherto deemed impossible by even the most intrepid aerialists. I believe we are in for just a bit of turbulence. Fly!
The X Games, coming soon.
In our Suzuki flashback, it's Hangtown 1986, 250 National, and Johnny O'Mara number 3 with the hole shot. Johnson number 5 was right there, pressuring O'Mara at the beginning of the race, and just like Jeremy, working him inside, outside, finally squares him off and takes over the lead. Watch this, Jim Hawley, number 12, MXA test rider. Who better than to do the dismount and remount trick? Gets passed by Jeff Ward in the process. Johnson continuing to lead out front. He led just about all day. Brock Glover, though, in the second moto, kept him honest, pushing him to the end of the race. Held down second place. Johnson squeezing around that corner marker. Watch the flagger. Quick trick, drops the white flag, gives the checkered flag to Johnson. He went on to win round 2 of the 86 series.
Jim Hawley looking like he's with the Pony Express there for a minute. What? Here we go back in the pack now as in second place, Lawrence, Swink, Kyle Lewis, and Greg Albertine. Look at the move now, number 8 starting to make Mike Larocco a late race move.
Larocco, and then just over his shoulder, Larry Ward and Emick starting to join the crowd. Emick, you know, it looks like lately Emick's hole shot is everything, especially indoors. He's gotten just about every hole shot, all the heat races, the main events. And Jeremy's been working out from behind, but now today, Jeremy's gotten the good starts, and Emick's having to work his way up from behind. I think that's the difference.
Looks like a parade with Phil Lawrence, the Grand Marshal.
Yeah, well, what's Jeremy then? He's just clearing
he's
the
in another class, yeah.
Clearing the streets. Okay, everybody get out of the way as a parade coming through.
Kyle Lewis, number 11, a good steady race for him.
And I'm impressed with Lawrence. I mean, he's still holding on to second. He's got all the pressure he can handle. Lewis getting way out of shape coming down that downhill. That allows Albertine to get around.
So Swink, Albertine, Lewis, and Larocco now the order.
great battle. It's going to come down to the wire, and it's going to be the guy that's in the best shape, makes the fewest mistakes. You know, unfortunately, if any of these guys falls down, he's going to lose all those positions. But for Jeremy, I think at one point had a huge lead. Coming into the corner they're about ready to get into right now is where Jeremy went down. Fortunately, had that lead, could get up and still hang on to it.
Albertine, he wants a piece of it after having the mechanical in the first moto. Albertine, he moves by Swink into third place.
You know, I pointed out the fact that these guys would get tired. Well, Albertine only rode about 4 or 5 laps of the first moto, so although he had to start in kind of a crummy place and he wasn't really aware of what the track had turned into during that moto, he's got to be the freshest of all these guys out there.
So the record crowd here at Hangtown, something to cheer about as Albertine makes a good move. In fact, they ran out of tickets for this.
That's a good problem. I remember when I had my national in Virginia, I wish I'd have ran out of tickets there.
Oh, the entrepreneur side of David Bailey, huh?
Well, it's nice to make a buck and win the race, too.
The Dirt Diggers North Motorcycle Club doing an outstanding job each year of organizing this. Here's LaRocco battling it out with Swink.
Makes the pass. That's been a popular place, as you pointed out, Art, that mechanics area. They come out of there and square off the corner or run it wide or whatever they got to do to get around the guy into the next corner. Now Emmig's starting to make his move on Lewis.
Emig number 2 on the Kawasaki. And of course, 2 of his teammates not with us here this afternoon. And the update is on Damon Huffman. He did not go through surgery.
Well, that's good news for Damon. You know, that would have been a bummer. And for Ryan Hughes, he's going to miss this week, perhaps next week as well, with the plate in that jaw. So Emmig's in a truck all by himself.
Emig on the move now after a slow start. Davey Coombs is combing the mechanics area. Let's go to Davey.
Jeff didn't get a great start, but Lawrence has done a good job of hauling up a lot of the other contenders. Has that been a Jeff's advantage?
Well, yeah, for sure it's a Jeff advantage. I mean, the guys are all packed up from second all the way back to like 8th or 9th. So, I mean, it's holding up the group a little bit, but it looks like Phil's pulling out, so maybe it's not holding up. I don't know. But anyway, it's a good race, and still a lot of races, and it's a long race. Maybe McGrath can make a mistake.
What do you think took Jeff so long to get it going there at the start?
Well, he wheelied coming out of the gate. He had a good jump, and he wheelied coming out of the gate, so that made him drop back a little bit. But, yeah, you definitely need to start.
And at our count, Emig started in 10th in this race on the first lap. Here's Phil Lawrence still in second place, but now he's getting hounded by Greg Albertine. The two have pulled a little bit of a lead on Mike LaRocco. Of course, Jeremy McGrath is way out in front as Albertine gets to the inside on Lawrence, and Greg Albertine is on his way to his best motocross finish.
Great pass up the inside. He planned that coming out of the mechanics area, and he's already opened up a little lead. Kind of a wounded Phil Lawrence in his defense. You know, I mean, he's held off everybody for this whole entire race. And Albertine, compared to Emig in terms of starts, Albertine was further back in the first lap than Emig was. So Emig needs to get that beginning of that race dialed in.
And zooming by Kyle Lewis is number 2, Jeff Emig.
Starting to pick up the pace now, but that first part of the race is so crucial.
Motocross fans are a lot different than Supercross fans, and earlier we talked with Jeff Emig about that topic.
I think when I'm done racing, I'm going to pick me out a national, and I'm going to try to kind of go incognito, and you know, I'm going to go watch a motocross race, you know, just like they watch me, and I think that it would be the best time of my life. So, because you know, when you look out there, you know, you're riding your parade laps or like practice, and you can just tell. I mean, you know, these people, you know, they got a barbecue going, they got the family there, they got, you know, everybody's hooting and hollering, you know, for their favorite rider when they go by, and you know, I think that it's just a great day of racing, and I think that that's what makes the AMA National Motocross Series, you know, a special series also. So, you know, one of these days I'm going to be out there with them watching. I'm going to be incognito, you know, so.
Well, hopefully it'll either be after your career is over with. Yeah. Or during a 125 race.
Yeah, sure, you know. But I don't know, the way that things are going now, you know, if they continue, to escalate like they are, then it might be kind of hard to go incognito to a national motocross. But but it sure would be a good time.
Jeff Emig, he brought up the story that one rider, a very famous rider, went incognito at Unadilla one year.
I guess Hannah wore a dress up there or something. I'm not sure where he pulled that story from. I didn't see it, but that sounds pretty funny. I wouldn't put it past Bob.
Phil Lawrence trying to hold off Mike LaRocco now as LaRocco wants to move up into the standings.
He wants to run over Lawrence's foot, too. He got in there and stuck his front wheel in there. He's putting the pressure on. The laps are winding down. Lapped rider there kind of messed Phil up just a little bit, and LaRocco capitalized on it.
Yeah, it was an easy move for LaRocco to make with the lapper in the way. Mike LaRocco on his way to his best finish of the year as far as the outdoors are concerned.
Mike reminds me a little bit of myself in 1986. I didn't get the best starts, but I was strong the whole race, real strong at the end, and in fact, in that flashback, I took off in both motos worse than 15th and caught up to a 4th and a 3rd. I was fast, but too far behind.
Our Honda Field summary, McGrath leading, and we'll be back in the run for the checkers is next.
Honey, pinch me.
Return to your senses in Florida.
Frantically planning a Florida vacation? Relax. The Gulf Coast of Florida already has a perfect plan. First, sun yourself on the beautiful beaches of St. Petersburg, Clearwater. Second, fun yourself at nearby Busch Gardens in Tampa Bay. It's the perfect sun and fun Florida vacation plan. For yours, call today.
AMA Motocross on ESPN2 has been brought to you by Honda Motorcycles and ATVs. Get to your dealer now with the lowest deals of the year. Welcome back to Hangtown. Round 2 of the AMA Motocross Series of the Nationals. Art Ekman, David Bailey, and Davey Coombs down in the mechanics area right now as we check out the battle for 4th place. Lawrence with Jeff Emig right behind him.
Lawrence holding off as his whole pack for most of the race, but now starting to get a little tired, riding in pain. Emig going down, the front end washed out. Having his problems today, not anything like last year where he won the second moto pretty handily. He's having his problems, and I think it's all due to he's getting a bad start. Here's another look. Watch it lose the front end right here. That's why it's so important to keep your foot out in front of you. See, his foot got tucked back behind him, and once that front end washed out, he didn't have anything to catch his balance with.
Mike LaRocco over the finish line jump. And he's on his way now to a 3rd place finish. LaRocco going through that freight train.
One thing that's always amazed me about Mike LaRocco, look at his levers. If you get a chance to see him, his clutch and front brake levers are straight out. So in order to pull on him, he's kind of got to drop his elbows, which, I don't know, in the David Little Professor Bailey terms, might just be not the best form. But Jeremy McGrath, speaking of form, looking pretty good out front.
It's pretty hard to beat that form, isn't it?
No, he does everything right. His elbows are in the right place. He stands up in the right time. You see he's got his foot out in front of him. Picks good lines, makes good decisions. Look, he almost bumps his head on the crossbar. He's so far forward. You can take a picture of Jeremy anywhere around the racetrack and stop it, and it'll look like he's in a big hurry, and that's how you go fast.
Jeff Emig now getting back up toward Phil Lawrence to put more pressure on. He still has some time to pass him.
Well, he fell and caught him already this quick, so he's obviously faster. Just a matter of, not falling again and having enough time, and I think he's got the time.
Interesting to see where he picks his opportunity, really. Once he gets close enough, here's the finish line jump. This is a popular area, and he takes to the inside, and he moves into 4th place. Jeff Emig.
A pretty strong run. He's come from a long ways back, as did Albertine. So both these guys they're gonna be tired tonight.
Jeremy McGrath, of course, had such a lead at the beginning. He had a 12-second lead, and he went down and still was able to maintain the lead.
Larry Ward right here had a pretty strong run in the first moto, having to come from behind. Surprising Bradshaw on the last lap, ending up in 5th, running 6th right now. Kind of all alone. It's no fun. And when you're all alone like that, you got 3 or 4 laps to go. It's just like, come on, man, just give me the checkered flag. I'm tired of it.
Especially in the second moto. the afternoon.
Well, he's not riding especially great right there, and you know, he just wants it to be over with. He knows he can't catch anyone else. Only a lap to go.
Final lap with that white flag waving. It's got to be good news for Jeremy, too, but he certainly doesn't look tired.
No, he looks like he's going just as fast as he did on the first lap. He charged through there like it was the first lap. And, you know, I mean, sometimes you drop your guard a little bit. You slow down just a tad, and that's when you start to make mistakes, but not for Jeremy. He's acknowledging the crowd already, and you know, he's hitting braking bumps and bouncing around. It doesn't look like he's slowed his pace very much. He's still charging.
Well, he could still fall down and still win. Jeremy McGrath, of course, ending last year's National Outdoors with the title and 5 consecutive moto victories. His 4th consecutive victory this year.
Pretty dominant, I would say. I mean, he finally got beat at a Supercross by about a half a bike length by Emick. And, you know, he proved that he can be beaten, and he even said, look, I can't win all the races, but to me it looks like he can, especially outdoors.
Well, to take an overall is a great accomplishment, there's no question, but I think just to win a 30-minute moto should be the equivalent of a Supercross win.
Sure, in a Supercross, it's only 20 minutes long, basically, and you win that, you win the race. Here you win a 30-minute moto. Outdoor on a rougher situation and all the elements, the heat, the humidity, whatever, and it's still not over. You got to go out and win another one. So, yeah, the outdoor is completely different. It takes a whole another animal to go out there and conquer the outdoor season, and Jeremy has transformed himself into that animal.
The crowd very appreciative. That's obvious on this, what might be called a victory lap, even though the race isn't over with yet. And Jeremy McGrath, of course, acknowledging back to the fans.
No place for that knack-knack, so he's just waving at him every chance he can get.
Another race here at Hangtown in such a great traditional track, about to become history. Jeremy McGrath will run through that mechanics area, and I can see the smile on Skip Norfolk's face right now. He's always grinning, that guy.
He's got a lot to grin about. So does everybody else at Honda. Wes McCoy, Cliff White, all the guys who do the work.
The checkered flag for the 2nd time today for Jeremy McGrath. Greg Albertine will take 2nd. Good finish for Mike LaRocco. Emick Lawrence finishing out the top 5. As we take a look at the top 10, it's Ward, Button, Lewis, Taylor, and Swink. Let's go to Davey Coombs with Jeremy.
Jeremy, 1-1. Good ride today. Yeah, I didn't get such a good start that second moto. I had to pass some guys and made a pretty good block pass on Phil. I think he owes me one now. And then like 3 laps later, I fell down. So I still had got up and still had a good lead, so I wasn't too nervous and kind of picked it back up and picked up my lead again.
It doesn't look like last week's loss in the Supercross series affected you at all today.
No, I was pumped up, ready to ride today, and last week kind of, you know, bummed me out. I trained real hard this week and, you know, got myself back in line for this weekend.
Yeah. And how do you feel about the rest of the series? You're undefeated so far.
Well, there we go again. I don't know. I'm ready for the Glen Helen. It's in front of my hometown crowd, and, you know, I'm having fun at the Nationals now, so looking forward to it.
Congratulations on the win.
Thanks.
Combine the motos, and here's how you have it on the podium. McGrath, Emick, and LaRocco. Albertine, a good comeback effort in the second moto.
That was a real good ride that time. I had to made up for the disappointment as the first moto, maybe a little.
Well, not quite. You know, I've just had so much bad luck. I tell you, I don't even know what to do anymore. And, you know, I'm riding good. I'm training hard. I'm working as hard as I can as everybody else. You know, nothing seems to be going my way, so I just don't know what to say.
What about the fact that you were definitely on McGrath's pace? Once you broke through to second place, he never pulled from him. In fact, you were actually gaining on him.
Well, it doesn't help anything when you're 10 seconds or more behind, you know. And, you know, I'm reasonably happy with my ride. I've been riding pretty well, and, you know, just nothing seems to be going my way. And hopefully next week we can turn that around at Glen Helen.
You certainly had your share of bad luck, Greg.
Yeah, you know, and I just want to thank my mechanic, Ian Harrison. You know, he's been working with me throughout the whole year, through the good times and the bad, and I really appreciate that. And, you know, Team Suzuki's been doing a great job. BFE, Oakley, no fear.
We wish you luck next week.
Thanks very much.
Here's a look at the points chase. McGrath, the perfect score, with Damon Bradshaw and Lawrence tied for 4th. Let's go back to Davey.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time breaking through the pack there the first part of the race.
Yeah, I jacked up my start again, and you know, I came out pretty bad, you know, worse than the first time. But you know, but the Kawasaki was working great tonight, and I mean today. And you know, Bridgestone tires, you know, those guys were working real hard again, and we had good equipment today. I just didn't get it off the line again. I wheelied real bad off the start, and you know, blew my start again. So, like it's pretty hard to win, you know, on a day like today when when you're starting back in the back.
Phil Lawrence was holding the guys up for a while there in second, and that kind of gave you a chance to get back into it. How hard was it past that group that included like Swink and Ward and LaRocco and all those guys?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't running real fast in the in the second moto like I was with my first moto. You know, I had my lap times way down. You know, maybe 204s, like 203s, and that time I was up around with 207, 206, 208, and and that just ain't gonna get the job done.
The guy that got the job done, the greatness of Jeremy McGrath shows through once again.
Well, it looks like at the moment it's going to be a two-man battle for the title with Ryan Hughes.